Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Dr. Sandy. I think when I listen to people talk about me, I don't believe it's really me talking about because I'm just an everyday girl trying to make a difference in the world. Thank you, Mr. Singh, for giving me this opportunity again. Last year when you asked me, I was like, can we do this again? It's been a legacy of our firm, and thank you for giving me the courage and letting me honor the legacy. Now let's get back to the business of today. As South Africans, we can take pride in our resilience. We are a nation of optimists, always finding strength to overcome the challenge that life and now nature throws at us. Let's rewind to the pivotal moment of 2024 general elections, a historic event that saw the ruling party lose its outright majority for the first time in 30 years. This outcome, while unprecedented in our own history, had significant implications for our economy and the direction of our country's economic policies. It was not unique on a global stage, as many other nations experienced similar political shifts in 2024. We are a firm that's affiliated to many companies internationally, and I think about 30 different countries went through the exact same thing in their elections last year. However, this event took us on a new journey regarding our own country's strategic policies and economic growth. South Africa saw the formation of the Government of National Unity, fondly known as the GNU. And President Ramaphosa was elected for president for his third term. As we witnessed this process unfold, none of us could have predicted the actual outcome. We all held our breath while the official results were announced on the 2nd of June, anticipating the coalition agreements that were going to unfold. It was a tense time, but our country's maturity, logic, and commitment to democracy prevailed. We now have a sense of unity among the 18 parties that form the National Assembly and represent our GNU, a reassuring sign of our nation's future. On the 6th of February 2025, our president delivered his State of the Nation address. Why do I mention the elections and now the SONA? We elected our government and the president, and this address provides essential information about our country's current economic, political, and social conditions. It also serves as the primary means for our president to communicate to us as the nation on our accomplishments, government's policies, and plans for our year ahead. So at a very high level, on February 6th, our president's speech outlined a clear vision for economic growth, stability, indicating several key initiatives designed to foster job creation, reduce unemployment, and improve our standard of living. The president spoke about revitalizing critical industries and investing $940 billion in infrastructure to create a competitive business environment while supporting both businesses and us individuals, instilling, yet again, a sense of optimism for our economic future. In summary, we were told about the plans to end load shedding, ensure a more reliable power supply, and reduce costs thereof. We mentioned SMME support and the reduction of barriers to entry, which will improve access to finance and enhance job creation. We were told there would be a focus on job creation through SMME growth, which will provide more employment opportunities. Now let's come closer to present day. About 3 weeks ago, amidst some chaos, the tabling of our budget had to be postponed. Whilst this was concerning as a fellow business person, it showed us what the GNU stood for, and that as a country, we are still maturing into the idea of a new democracy. The budget was tabled on the 12th of March, And as a fellow Kiba member, Dr. Sandy mentioned in our chat group, it was a subdued budget by a somewhat nervous minister, but can we really blame him? Our economy has stagnated over the last decade. During the presidency of Mr. Mbeki, our GDP growth was closer to 3%, yet now we have projected 1.8% growth. That's being optimistic. Our country faces 4.9% unemployment rate, and yet we constantly hear about the public and private partnerships. Yet the budget speech delivered wasn't active or present to show our government's initiative to take the lead in this private and public collaboration. Our debt cost is 22 cents for every rand of revenue collected. In the minister's own words, the amount we spend on debt costs is more than the amount we spend on health, police, and basic education. The budget has been tabled, is supposed to include measures to reduce our now debt costs so that this money can actually be spent on growing our own economy. Let's consider the improvement in our electricity situation. Was this just simply a political instrument? Was this political optics? There's many politicians in this room today. Or has the Eskom debt relief arrangement actually been effective? I do also recall load shedding was back with vengeance a few weeks ago, so maybe Ahmad's going to enlighten us more on what our money did there. Corporate and individual taxes could not be increased in an already stagnant economy. Businesses are struggling. We see it daily. We are struggling to improve business confidence with our high taxes and regulations and lack of infrastructure. Income from revenue collections from businesses have declined. So economic growth is essential for us to survive. The number of listed companies on the JSE has decreased, which speaks to the lack of investor confidence in our country. Yet there are still rebates available to us business people, such as the diesel rebate and incentives for training and education, which are still being offered. Ahmad will unpack this later. Still, in reality, businesses cannot utilize these rebates or incentives or choose not to, and we must ask ourselves why. After the budget speech, the only person I saw excited was the SARS commissioner. SARS has been allocated 3.5 billion in the current year and an additional 4.4 billion after the midterm. So we can hope the plan to improve collections and revenue will improve with this budget allocation. There's a huge outstanding debt, and I will do a sales pitch for Morar Inc. If any of you have outstanding returns, please contact Ahmad urgently. Some social grants have been given a slightly above inflation increase, but with the burden already placed on a very strained budget, how feasible is this really in the long run for our country? South Africa is by no means a socialist state. With no increase in the health budget to specifically address the funding we have lost from US aid for HIV and AIDS treatment programs, Mr. Singh earlier alluded to our problems with Trump and his mood on a daily basis. And these actions have now started to unravel where we see a loss of productivity in our own country. Before I steal all Ahmad's thunder, let me conclude by reminding us that yes, VAT has been increased. Our minister rationalized this by saying that our personal income taxes and collections as a percentage of GDP are far higher than most of the developing countries. So any increase on ourselves was not feasible. Thank you, Minister. Revenue from corporate taxes is declining. So increasing any corporate income tax was a definite no-go. VAT affects everyone in every way. So this marginal increase of 0.5% hopes to generate approximately 13 billion in revenue for the fiscus. And we have counter-effected that by providing social grants above an inflationary increase. Does this make sense? We are considering the expansion of the basket of zero-rated goods and not increasing the fuel levy for another year, which would save consumers a further 4 billion. But there's still a lot of work to do regarding the basket of goods that is now going to be zero-rated, and what will be the actual impact on each one of us and our households. By not increasing the fuel levy, remember, if we go back 10 years, and I travel the N3 route to Pietermaritzburg almost daily, when I started at Morar Incorporated, I think I paid 5 Rand, then I paid 5 Rand 50. It is now sitting at 15 Rand 50. It is one of the worst routes to travel. So thank you for not increasing any other levies regarding travel. But ladies and gentlemen, it's not all doom and gloom. We are a country of optimists. Focusing on the rail system to improve trade is critical for our economy to grow. Understanding the provision of electricity and water is necessary for growth, and allocated budgets have been given to these facilities. We should also understand that investment in education is critical. Africa has the largest growing population. Our children are our future, literally. To conclude, anyone in business would agree that the minister's task was enormous. And perhaps this was the best way he could do it, given the current circumstances. But I'm a big fan of strategy. As Peter Drucker says, culture eats strategy for breakfast, and efficiency is doing better than what is already being done. So I would hope that the implementation and monitoring of this budget and all the plans and policies and strategies set forth are measured and monitored, and the responsible individuals are held accountable for our money. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for indulging me with this topic that I'm pretty passionate about. Now let me leave you in the hands of our very own real-life expert, Mr. Ahmed Hussein, who will break down the finer details of the budget for you and your business. Thank you.